Hello everyone and welcome to Nathan's MakerBox. In the previous episode we created a game board tray for my son's bingo game, and as I was recording the episode I realized I have no way to make a time lapse for my printer. So I thought the easiest way and step one is to just create a phone stand for my old phone in order to create a hyperlapse. Looking at my printer I saw a little edge we could clamp something onto and hold a phone. Let's say in a 45-degree angle looking down at the print. I measured the size of one of these ledges and it was 6.2 millimeters. I also measured the width of the rim in order to determine how large my clam can be. And with these two measurements we will get started. We're gonna create a box. I want this to be about 2 millimeters thick. This is gonna be the bottom of the clam, so this is gonna hold onto the bottom of the frame. And we determined we could go 31 millimeters, so we're just gonna do 30 and we should be fine. If you remembered, we measured 6.2 millimeters for the ledge, so we are gonna make this 6.5 millimeters, just a little bit of wiggle room. I'm actually gonna print this in TPU material in order to get a little bit of a rubbery and flexible effect. The next thing we're gonna do is copy this over one more time in a 45 degrees angle. This is what I wanted to see. Now it's even and it's going up right there. And this is actually looking into the wrong direction. Right here, this is the perfect spot. Now imagine this is clamped in, the phone is standing right here. It's looking down at the 45-degree angle. We want to make sure that the vibrations don't cause it to fall. So what we're going to do is a little lip. I'm just going to make it 2 millimeters thick, but we're going to make it 4 millimeters high. So I want to bring this over to approximately here. This is going to allow me to put down the phone in a 45 degrees angle, or I can also put it down in a more extreme angle if I print something that is really high. There we go, there it is, the finished holder. Sometimes it doesn't need to be complicated. We're gonna group this all together. This way we can print it easily without any support whatsoever. Should be an easy thing. Of course it's gonna take a while because of the TPU material, but I'm looking forward to the results. Let's check it out. Just as a fair warning, I actually already printed it out with normal plastic material, so at least we can time-lapse the TPU version. Hope you enjoy. Well, the time-lapse actually is just gonna take like 3 seconds, so there we go, we're done. Alright, step 1 is completed. The time-lapse looked absolutely horrendous, especially with the printing head obstructing the view the entire time. It is so distracting and I really don't like it. So we're gonna go a step further, but before I have to address the TPU material. It's the first time I'm printing with this and it's a little more flexible than I anticipated. So unfortunately that is not gonna make for a very good phone stand. It's not gonna even be capable of holding the phone up. So what I'm gonna do is go with the PLA version that I printed earlier in order to record the first time-lapse. And just to reiterate, I want to show you that with another time-lapse possibility with a vase. This already turned out much better because the object is larger, but it's still with that ugly print head zipping all over the place and the rods getting in the way of the camera. So now we're gonna try to take this to the next level. Alrighty, it is now a couple of days later and I went back to the drawing board and I created 2 additional parts in order to make this time-lapse much more appealing. Both of these shapes are done with just the geometrical parts, just like we did it with the phone stand. And they went through so many iterations that I don't want to show you the process of how I built them, but let me explain you what they are exactly for. This part right here I constructed to fit one of the clips that actually came with the printer. If we move this around to the correct orientation, so the other way was the way we printed and this is the way it's actually going to be attached. And I'm quickly going to show you an image now on where this is actually set up on the printer. So the round part goes into one of these clips and the 2 brackets wrap around the power cable of the print head. So once again, right here is the piece, round part goes into the clip, and then of course this part right here is going to touch the button. That is taking a picture. So basically the aim is my print head goes out of the way, and as it does that, it clicks the button in order to take a photo. And this way we do it every layer, and we can get this fantastic time-lapse going. Now the other part right here is also gonna clip to the frame, just like the phone stand right here. However, I'm gonna clip this right to the point where my printer goes in order to switch the print head. So it has 2 nozzles attached, and whenever it switches between one of the nozzles, it's going to a specific place in order to do that. So it's kind of a mechanical setup, and it so happens that in the middle of this setup there is a little screw. So I made another part that is gonna clip into the frame, and I'm gonna show you an image right now. On the image you can see I'm using phone heads, but the hole was previously made for a Bluetooth shutter that I purchased, and I was utterly disappointed because, well, it disconnected, it didn't work right, it had a lag, it had a battery, so many potentials to fail. So I decided to cut up the TPU phone stand that I made in order to clamp the volume buttons of my headphones attached to the phone into this stand. So originally this was designed for the remote, but now I have a makeshift solution to clamp the headphones in there instead. And you can see all of this in action right now, how this is working together. It does sound a little bit scary as the print head approaches the buttons, but I tested this with the print with the Dragon, as you saw, and it just worked phenomenally. By the way, also this piece I made in a way so that we can print it out. So you can just see that right here. If I print this out, this is all possible. We can actually do a bridge as long as it is on the same layer. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to be as clean down at the bottom, but this way it's definitely printable without any additional support materials. This piece right here, however, I had to print with support materials. However, it was just a tiny bit of it right here at the bottom. The rest was printable, no issues whatsoever. Yeah, and there we go. Even though this piece now serves a different purpose than it was designed for, it still works with my setup, and it is just wonderful. I love it. So I think our goal is achieved. Another little upgrade that I made here for my printer is to hang up a bunch of tools, and we're actually going to have a look at that in another video. But in today's video, it was all about making the time-lapse possible. No, not only possible, but also beautiful. And I'm looking forward to my future time-lapse. At the end of this video, just like with all of my designs, I'm gonna tell you what I would change and probably will change. The 45 degrees are just a little bit too steep of an angle. So if this is the print surface and I have my mobile phone right here, I have to print everything very close to this corner. And I mean, if I record the pictures large enough, I can always crop in. So it doesn't matter if I photograph too much of the scenery, I can always crop in, but it would matter if I didn't have the entire model visible. Alright, there we go. I would say with that out of the way, we're gonna wrap up today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and maybe also subscribe to the channel. That would definitely make my day. Thank you so much, have a great time, and see you soon. Bye bye.